Shua Tov Rabotai, Mishnah Yomi is continuing in the 5th parak of Maaser Sheni, Mishnah Zayin. Misha Chayalo Perot Bizman Hazeh. If someone has produce, which is Maaser Sheni produce, Bizman Hazeh, Vehigia Shat biur, and the time of biur has arrived. Remember, we learned yesterday it was in the 3rd and 6th years of the Shemitah cycle, Erev Pesach. Beit Shammai Omer, Beit Shammai says, what should he do? Sarich l'chalalan ola kesef. He has to redeem them onto money. Ubeit Hillel Omrim, echad shehen kesef, echad shehen perot. He says whether it's in money or whether it's in produce. Now what's unspoken is, Bizman hazeh means without a temple. So what they're saying is if you don't have a temple, you kind of have to destroy or remove from the world the value of the Maaser Sheni. So what Beit Shammai is saying, you could put it onto money and take the money to Yerushalayim, and you don't have a temple, Nebuch, but you could destroy the money there. In other places, the Gemara says you could grind up the money and throw it into the river, throw it into the ocean, even whole, if it's a place where people don't dive down to get coins. And Beit Hillel says you don't have to put it into money. It could be the peyrot, or it could be the coins, and you can leave it to rot where people aren't going to get it. Now, what's strange about this Mishnah, Rabbosai, is we know that Hillel and Shammai lived during the time of the Second Temple. Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai continued after they passed away, but they didn't seem to be around. It seems just to me, if somebody knows differently, please let me know. It seems to me that Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel were not really still a beit, not really still an academy at the time of the Churban. Now that's kind of on the borderline, because we know that Rabbi Eliezer, who lived right around the time of the Churban, a little bit after, he was called the Shemuti, he was called from Beit Shammai, but it doesn't seem like they were still on the scene. So it's kind of a strange Mishnah. They're saying Bizman hazeh, but in any event, they do mean Bizman hazeh, meaning if you don't have a temple, you need to remove the sanctity of Maaser Sheni from the world. Mishnah Ches, Amar Rabbi Yehuda Brishona. Originally, Hayu Sholchin Etzel Bali Batim Shemedinot. They would send out, the Bezdin would send out messengers to the Bali Batim, to the landowners that were out in the country, outside of Yerushalayim, and tell them, Maharu, V'atkinu et perotechem. Hurry up and fix up your produce. Meaning, pick your produce and get it, ready to go. Get it at Gmar Malacha, ready to tithe. Ad Shetagia Shat biur, and before the biur comes. So the rabbis were telling everybody, get your produce ready so you can take the tithes before Zman biur. Ad Sheba Rabbi Akiva v'limed, until Rabbi Akiva came and he taught Shekol perot shelo ba'u l'onat hamasrot, any perot that are not at the stage of Maaser, meaning they don't have Gemar Malacha, they're unfinished, as we discussed in the first parak and previously regarding Trumot and Masrot as well. Paturin min habiur, they're patur from biur. That biur doesn't apply to something that's not reached that final stage of processing, and therefore they didn't need to send messengers out to say, hey, get all your stuff finished up and ready to go and tithe it before the shat biur, because if it wasn't ready to tithe, then Lamaisa, they wouldn't have to tithe it and do biur. Shkoyach Rabosai Shvuah Tov.